Good morning, everybody. I'm Wayne Campbell, and this is your morning drive with the driver's side. And obviously, the wife's here this morning. We're getting ready to kick off this morning. Good morning. I'm going to go to a few comments here because I can see him here this morning. Hi, honey. How are you? I love you. I appreciate all your hard work. I know how difficult I am in the morning.
Do you understand that? Do you understand that?
I do understand. Remember, guys, we are sponsored by Trucker Tools, so please download that app, tap that app, and let us know how that app's working for you. It's got all the tools you need for your truck, for you out there. Oh, my notifications just threw me off. Good job, Charles Bundy. I appreciate you. But yeah, remember, guys, download that Trucker Tools app and let us know how it's working for you. It's got all the tools you need for your everyday needs in trucking. Okay, from parking, fuel optimizers to load boards, all that stuff. But good morning, Freddie Bell. How are you? Good morning, Charles Bundy. I see you. Anton Austin, how are you? God, Becky Underwood, Jonathan Turner. Man, there's a lot of people. Larry, how are you? God, there's a lot of people here this morning. What?
Lincoln, Nebraska.
How you doing, baby? What's going on with you?
Me, I'm tired. You know that. We've been working hard, man, this week. So we've gotten like 3.5 hours sleep to get up and roll on and do this. It's been a good week, though.
What's that?
It's been a good weekend, though, don't you think?
It has been a good weekend. It's been a good weekend. I'm excited. We don't got much left to do as far as the house goes, but we got a lot to do to prepare for the road, don't we?
Oh, yes, there's lots.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready to start living on? You've never lived on the road like this. So I know it's not trucking, but it's still living on the road on the high end.
Right. And I'm good with it.
Are you?
Hey, listen, I was conditioned for this as a kid. My grandparents used to take us RVing all the time during the summer break. So it's not the same. I get that, but still, yes, I'm ready.
This is not a summer break, my love.
Right. What? Really? But you know what was cool? You know what I thought was really cool out of all of that was remember when I was trying to find all that box of pictures that I've been toting around for like 35 years? Long time. Those pictures have been with me a long time. And I found the box. And we started going through. And then I started pulling out the pictures of you and all the pictures I had of you and I together. And that was really cool. It was just it was fun.
Well, I'll say this. It brought me back to my younger days, and it reminded me of how special it is to have a person like you in my life, honey. So
right.
I could travel back in time with you and go to pretty much any point in my life, and you were right there with me. That's the beauty of marrying my best friend. So. But I did enjoy it. I saw the mullet, the Iron Maiden shirt. I'm surprised it wasn't a Judas Priest shirt because that was my crew. But remember, guys, it is the 4th of July weekend, honey. It is the 4th of July. So happy 4th of July, everybody. And
yep, happy 4th.
What?
I said happy 4th.
Right, happy 4th. Everything else is shut down, but we're wide open. Everybody's coming up to Vegas to party.
Yeah.
What's going on with that? I mean, seriously, are we gonna be forever Sin City and not care about anything but sinning?
Pretty much, yeah. Our government doesn't care. California and Arizona, our neighbors, basically they shut their bars and restaurants and stuff down. So it's expected that we're really gonna be hit with our neighbors from Cali and Arizona coming in for the 4th of July weekend. So. Which for our city is big money, and they don't care that anything else is going on. That's what they're trying to do is recoup some money. That's all that is.
And it's scary. It's scary. It's scary the way things are, and the lack of protection in some areas. Which brings me to drivers. Remember, it's not easy out there today. And if you're going into areas, please check on the protests. Please check on what's going on in the areas you're going into, drivers. See any car hauler? 777. But seriously, look into where you're going. Look into the areas that you're going into because it's not complete. It's not safe. Okay. Which brings me to, I think, from what I heard, New York The reason why I'm saying it's not safe is because actually the New York Police Department, I believe, if I'm right, honey, if
Right.
you touched on something this morning, told me something this morning, is that they're talking about a walkout tomorrow on the
Right.
4th of July.
Right. In New York City. Yeah, they're planning on walking out in for the day. That's just the rumor of it. Now, according to New York laws, it's illegal, punishable by fines and prison if public workers walk out. But the rumor is that they're still going to for the day, just to basically prove a point. So just in case any drivers are going through, and you guys are going through New York City, just be aware that is possibly happening, and just to be aware of your surroundings. And that also, that holiday weekends is proven that holiday weekends is more so the time for when trucks get looted.
Yes, right. And the thing is that's on a regular. During the holidays, the crime rate rises in the truck industry because, well, you guys got everything we need.
Right.
But with the way things are today, and the economy, the shape that the economy's in, and the way this country, the issues within the country itself, it makes these drivers and these truckers a lot more of a target than they even were before.
Right, correct. So just be aware. What they do is during the holiday weekends, they say that it's more so on the holiday weekends because obviously the cops are out doing other stuff. One, and for two, that they think that because there's an extra day like the Monday, that it's not going to be reported. They're not going to notice it. Companies aren't going to notice like a whole truck or stuff going on if they take the whole truck. During that long time, won't get reported till like Tuesday.
Right. It's crazy. It's sad. I hate seeing the shape of this country's in right now, and what drivers are going through in a whole. I mean, it's don't trust your government. I'm just gonna say it. Don't trust your government. I know that I saw a transportation station the other day about the FMCSA failing these drivers, and they've been failing them for decades. That's nothing new. My issue is the lack of protection, the lack of being there for the driver themselves, for these companies, for these drivers of these companies. It's been long overdue for this industry to get the support it actually needs from its government. Okay, because right before all this, before everything happened, the truckers went up to Washington. They striked. They stood their ground, and my hat's off to them. I didn't approve. I didn't think it was the right way to do it because I know the outcome with this government. I don't trust my government. Never have, never will, and I'll never have hope within my government until they show me different. But what those drivers did, and they went up there and they sacrificed time. They sacrificed just everything to be sitting right there in Washington on Constitutional Avenue, and to be just pushed to the side and just be completely, basically disregarded is what I'm tired of seeing from the government and from the FMCSA, from the ATA, from all of it. Tired of it.
Well, and for the president to actually mention it and say, "Hey, you guys have the power. Let's do something. These drivers need stuff. Let's get something done." And then for what is it, like a month or so later for the FMSCA just to go, we're not going to do anything.
I don't get it. It worries me because these drivers, they need as much help as they can get, especially today.
Right.
Because the things that are coming down the line are not good. They're not. They do not benefit the driver. There was a deal done 2 days ago.
Right.
I want to touch on that. I believe you have it sitting in front of you, or you will have it sitting in front of you in a second. But this deal that's been made, I touched on it the other day, and they're coming. They're coming, and I believe, in my personal opinion, I believe this is the push. This is the gateway
Well, it is too. And what I'm about to tell you is about, they're predicting it's going to be in a 3-phase part, all done by 2024. So we're talking in 4 years. This is going to be, if this transpires as fast as they want it, this is pretty huge, which is that mega carriers, now according to, this is off of Transportation Nation, guys, okay? And you guys can see this. This is coming out of here. So mega carriers partner with Too Simple to historic deal to run driverless trucks nationwide. And basically what they're doing is that they're partnering with US Express, UPS, McLean, and Penske to form basically a network is what it is. And at hubs. So they'll all join together. Now, it's also important to remember on this too, that they're also trying to raise money and that they're also getting backing from Morgan Stanley to raise $250 million from investors too. I mean, so, Morgan Stanley is pretty big.
Well, all those names that you mentioned are very big. And real quick, right. Kirby, we'll get you, Kirby. I see your comment down there about the insurance. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But this deal that's been cut, right. People really need to pay attention to this autonomous thing. These people that believe that these robots aren't coming, those robots are here. It's just a matter of how they introduce them. Okay? It's a matter of regulations. All right? The only thing that's stopping autonomous is regulations, period. Because the deals are being cut. I covered a lot of the autonomous a year and a half ago. I will repost some episodes. They already have an actual logistics system that is set up, ready to go. And they just got to put everything in place. And their goal is 2030. Okay? Their goal is 2030. And the scary thing is, and they've actually been very transparent with it. They've been it's up to you to go find it and go find the videos and go find where they're educating the people.
Right.
I hope drivers realize that you guys live on the road. You guys have phones. You don't pay attention to the real world, actually, what's really going on. You pay attention to what's coming out of transportation. You pay attention to this, what's current. But I know a lot of drivers, I know it's me being so secluded, being so separated from the regular world in a sense. Even though I'm right there in the world, it's their own community. It's a community outside the rest of the world. That they have been letting people know that this is coming. They actually, like I said, I'm going to bring Vera from Volvo back up. Vera from Volvo is a cabless truck. It's like a box, and it can hook up to a trailer, and it can turn into tight quarters in cities, in your major cities, in your metroplexes, and all that. But what they did is they took it out to the general public, and they showcased it. And people were going up and, can we take selfies with it? And they're taking pictures with it. See you, American. And when they were commentating and they were doing the voiceover over the video, they were saying it was like they gave her a soul. Again, I said this the other day. They're trying to put the human element on the computer.
Right. Well, but if that happens, I mean, if this goes as if they plan, they're talking in 4 years, and we're already halfway through this year. So we're talking like in 3.5 years. And this is here. Let me tell you what their phase. Okay. So phase 1, which is the rest of this year, and then 2021. Okay. Will offer service between the cities of Phoenix, Tucson, El Paso, Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio. Okay. Phase 2, which is going to be 2022 through 2023, will expand the network service from Los Angeles to Jacksonville and connect the East Coast with the West. That's a lot in a year. So, you started out there down here in those, I guess southern corridors, western states, right? So then 2, now they're talking LA to all the way to Florida. So then phase 3, which is 2023 through 2024, will expand driverless operations nationwide, adding major shipping routes throughout the lower 48 states, allowing customers to utilize their own two simple equipped autonomous trucks on the AFN, the network, by 2024. So that obviously others would be able to join in is what they're saying. You know what I'm saying? They have their own too simple.
It's the fact that these big companies like UPS and McLean and all of them have teamed up with Too Simple is a scary thing, guys.
Right.
I hope please look into these companies. It's just like safety within this industry. Okay, it's not good. I want to say hello to Trucking with V. I saw your videos this morning, Trucking with V, and she's got a comment down there, and she says you said a mouthful. A lot of latent people will not understand time, health, money, and we made a appearance to stand for ourselves. I believe what she's saying is people not understanding what's going on, not just within safety, but within this country itself.
Right.
Because this is a computer-based generation that's coming behind us. We will be pushed out. It depends. It just, if we're not paying attention on how we're going to get pushed out. The younger ones have to take over. They have to. It's just how this works. It's evolution.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm trying to say is like Becky Underwood says, I don't see that anytime soon. Autonomous trucking, but it will come sooner or later. Right. There's a lot of distraction going on. There's been distraction for decades. There's always distraction before things come into place. It's so we don't. It's distraction for things that are coming into place that will displace people. If that makes any sense.
Right. And they're continuing with their agenda full speed, regardless of pandemic or not pandemic. I mean, these are people who have, billions of dollars, so it affects them, even though virus and the economy affects them. It doesn't affect them as necessarily, in my opinion, as it would the general population. Their agenda is still going to continue. They're still going to go for backing. They're still going to find it. So no matter what's going on, this stuff behind the scenes is still going on to push it forward. And
go ahead, babe.
I want to read you what they have, because there's a video on it of how they basically brought this to UPS and these Penske and to these companies that are getting on board. And
if you see those, if you pay attention to the companies, you got McLean, you got Penske, you got UPS, right? Those the three,
right? But I want to see. I want you to listen. Okay, I'm going to read this because this is basically their pitch of how to get them on board. It says, "What if technology could change the world for the better? What if we could create a virtual driver who never drinks, never texts, and never gets tired? What if you could transport freight coast to coast in 36 hours? What if you had nearly unlimited freight capacity? What if we could distribute more foods and supplies to more people faster? What if you could make trucks more efficient and reduce their carbon footprint? What if you could stabilize and protect supply chains against the unexpected? What if you could lower the cost of freight transportation by 30%?
Which brings me to our comment, because this comment that I just read,
right?
It marries this. Okay, so J.R. Cootie. I want to say Cootie. The insurance premium for autonomous trucks will be sky high. It's already sky high for human driving trucks. Our products will be much more expensive and jobs will be lost. I know it will be horrible as I'm a trucking insurance agent. Right. But they're cutting costs in so many other areas that they'll be able to afford that high insurance and go into the insurance. Okay. So we have this bill that wants to go through, and the Democrats are pushing it. The Republicans saying they're going to shut it down, and it's everything that's intermingled with this bill that will raise the insurance. Is the bill which one is it, baby? It's the infrastructure bill.
Right.
Correct. If the infrastructure bill gets shot down, the insurance goes up. Correct? Am I correct?
Basically, how that's going to work is that if it goes through, those attachments are attached on for the insurance. It's kind of like a little amendment that's kind of attached in on that bill, from what I'm reading and understanding of it. And so if it gets approved, if that infrastructure, it got passed through the House, which means that it still has to, which is pretty much party lines, is Democrat. The House is Democrat, the Senate is Republican. So, and because of their controversy and where we are at, of course, they're at odds with each other. They don't want to approve of anything from either side. Okay, that's just how that goes. Okay, so it got passed through the House. It still has to go through the Senate. Now, the Senate is saying that they're going to not approve it. Okay. Right. And so like the ATA and stuff are not saying that they're not against it as far as raising the insurance. What they're saying is that they're against it going up so fast, so drastically, from that 750 to 2 million. That's a huge, huge jump. So,
correct.
Right.
So here's my, go ahead, honey. I'm sorry, I'm cutting you off.
Right. So that's why they're basically saying that part of that is why that the Senate isn't going to also approve it, amongst other reasons that the Senate isn't going to approve it, for it to go up for the president to sign and everything else. So we're looking at that. It's pretty much looking like it's a good chance that whole bill is going to get shut down by the Senate. So we're not looking at necessarily right this very second that those insurance rates would go up that fast, unless it gets approved.
Here's where I'm going with that. Does insurance in the trucking industry need to go up? Yes. Does it need to go up dramatically like they wanted to? No. Hell no. But the reason why I'm going to say that, because if you think that insurance doesn't need to go up somewhat in the trucking industry, gradually go up, then you think that training is in its highest quality in the trucking industry. Because if you think training is where it should be within the trucking industry, well, you got a great industry, and those driverless trucks will never come. Point is the training within the industry, all the toxicity within the industry, all the targets on drivers' backs, like he says down here, JR Cody says, y'all already know how many ambulance chases are out there because of your insurance premiums. Just imagine what it will be like if it gets approved to raise it to 200,000.
2 million. 2 million.
Or 2 million. 2 million. Sorry. Point being is drivers, they're in a bad situation. Okay.
Right.
Especially the quality drivers within this industry. Okay. The professionals, the one that use that look at as a lifestyle and a career, a lifestyle within a career, not just a job. They're up against it. Their backs are technically against the wall like they've been forever. But this one, it's when their backs are against the wall, I feel like the firing squad's right there, and they're ready to take these drivers out.
Right.
Because he's right down here. Cody, he's an insurance agent. I hauled frac sand for many years for Chalk Mountain in Texas, and I did all of Texas. But we ran 287 mostly, and we did Glen Rose, Texas to Pleasanton, Texas, which is basically Fort Worth to San Antonio. And we ran 287. We got in certain areas. We teamed up and we convoyed, even though it was illegal, because we had people targeting us, because we were dominant on that highway on 287 on that stretch. That people targeted us for insurance costs, for insurance fraud,
right?
Boom, all that. Right. But I think what I'm going to try to get to with Cody here is, with JR here, is that the technology that goes on these trucks, along with the cameras, that they're not going to have any argument from any driver that their constitutional rights are being, or that their rights are being violated, that it's against their constitutional right, privacy, whatever, that these cameras can go right in place. All that they can save a ton of money in labor and cost.
Right.
Keep running these trucks and not affect anything. It's just a simple switch. That's what I'm afraid of. If you take everything and you put it in a blender, it doesn't look good for the driver. It really doesn't.
No.
And that breaks my freaking heart.
Right. Well, JR went further on to say, yes, the minimum is 750. Everyone typically already has above minimums at 1 million. Why can't it just be raised to 1 million? And I agree, because that little jump there is not as a big of a hit. You know, they need to have something in place like over the X amount of years. So you leave that in place to get to the 2 million that eventually that they want, without it being such a drastic change all of a sudden right now. Let the economy come back. Let things come back if that's going to happen while it's still there. But that's what they also talked about, as far as they'd like to see at 1 million to 1.5 million. And that's kind of where the controversy is going to come in. That 2 million is too high, and to at least start something smaller. So it's not going to put so many people, you know, out of business, the smaller carriers.
I worry for my country in general.
Sure.
Where we're at now, because of how you were treated. It's not just trucking.
Right.
The bank tellers, the tellers, the grocers, bartenders. It's just everybody right now at this point. Nothing is secure. Okay, nothing is secure at all. You know, and I want to go to Alika's comment, because it's a little bit of security for the driver, because what she says here is they will still require a driver. They won't be able to go everywhere. They can't back into a dock. And it's like a driver saying how they can open the doors. Well, they have electronic opening doors. So, but I want to say she has a great comment, a great argument on the driver's side. The fact is, the fact that this truck exists, it devalues the driver. Period. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about the value of a driver, because the driver's everything to us. They're not valued enough as it is now. So with this truck being here and this truck coming, it's going to devalue. But the sad part about Alika's comment is they're paying a team of people millions and millions and millions of dollars to figure out how to back into that door.
Sure.
That's the part that scares me. We don't know where they're doing it, know how they're doing it, but they're figuring out a way to do it if they have it. And as far as a driver being in the truck, she's right up to a certain point into a certain year. Because once they push us far enough out, it's not going to matter what we think or how we feel about our safety. It's about the majority and how they feel. And this computer-based society today that lets a computer do everything for them,
Right.
they'll push it right out. For me personally, it's the worst thing to happen to the trucking industry ever. And the trucking industry's been through hell and has been in hell for a long time. But I worry about this country in a whole, let alone the trucking industry today. But the trucking industry mostly because it is everything to us, no matter what. Everything can shut down, but these drivers need to still keep going, because we need to eat, we need clothes, we need gas, we need all that. Right. So I don't get it. It hurts me. You know, Joe Denny, happy 4th of July. You know, it hurts me because people I look down and I see that name Joe Denny, and I know what he's been in this industry. And I know what he wants to see from this industry. He wants to see an industry that's built and that caters to the driver, not to the people. Because the driver is taking care of the people. That catering is being done. But what catering is what's being taken care of for the driver? Who's looking out for that driver? Who's looking out for the future of this industry? The people of this world in a whole. I know they will create a lot more new jobs in new areas. What about people like Joe Denny that just wants to keep going and gets pushed out and he's not ready to go?
Right.
I know that I grew up, and it wasn't too long ago, just where you had a lot of senior citizens working at Walmarts and McDonald's, and it was just to pay for their health insurance or their medication.
Right.
Because their retirement didn't cover it. What are you laughing at?
I'm bouncing around right now.
You got to pee.
I do. And I'm like totally trying to listen to you. I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm I'm over here trying to listen to you as much as I can as my eyeballs are floating over here. And I'm like, okay. I get what you're saying, baby. I know. And we always talk about it that, they're taking the human out of humanity. That there's so much that they're putting so much technology into everything that they're just taking the human aspect out of everything. And it's sad. It's sad to watch. I mean, we all enjoy new things and easier things and more convenient things and technology and what our phones can do, that we can Google everything now. But at what price? I mean, when do we stop with when do we stop with the technology? When is it going to be enough?
How about this? Let's keep the technology. That's fine. But let's go back to old school discipline. Let these parents whoop their kids' ass if they need to. All right? Let's go back to earning trophies, not just giving everybody. Okay? Let's go back to
you get a trophy. You get a trophy. You get a trophy. You get a trophy.
Point being is Joe Denny's not going anywhere because he's a survivor. He said it down here. He's not going anywhere because he's a survivor. Because Joe Denny had to earn everything he got in his life, opposed to this entitled base generation that's coming up. I just, in my personal opinion, the way I see things today and what I see from people of the younger generation, not all of them, but a lot of them, is entitlement issues, that they feel that, oh, I deserve this and I deserve that.
Right.
When basically I was taught I have to earn this, I have to earn that. Not that I deserve it. My father bought my sister's cars when we were growing up. When they hit 16, one sister got a brand new Vega, and the other one got a brand new Bug. What did I get? What did I get? You know what I got? You know what I got? I had to go work for Dad, earn my money, and I bought a 1976 Ford LTD that was caca brown.
Right.
That my dad sold me. My dad sold it to me. He didn't, he sold it to me.
Right.
I was the man, the young man. I was the boy of the family. I was the only.
Okay. So now let's just stop there, acting like you're Mr. Deprived here. Okay.
Time out.
No.
Don't do this for me. Come on.
No, Mr. Deprived, like you got that, because whose car were you driving before you even had a learner's permit all over the place?
Yours.
That's right. All of you boys used to drop me off at work. Bye, Sheila. Thanks. What? Yeah. You guys used to go out and thrash and bash on my little Corona
Right, but that still doesn't mean that my father didn't instill a work ethic in me. My father was very absent in my life, but my father did install a work ethic in me. I know I'm a little lazy now, and I'm kind of like that borderline. Entitled, God dang it, I gotta earn it. I can't just have it.
Right. So I'm not taking away the whole yours was the first a second hand-me-down LTD, blah blah blah. Because you were driving everybody's car, including, I believe, motorcycles at that time, because my cousin was teaching you, and the ex-boyfriend was teaching you how to ride a motorcycle. So it wasn't like you were like hoofing it all the time. So let's just get that clear.
All right, look, Joe Denny, look, he's right. So Joe Denny says, too many entitled thinking people out
here. Right?
Oh, man. Walter's, my first car was a 1966 Chevy Nova that I paid for. Damn, great car. Novas were awesome. Novas and Chevelles back in the day. It was, I was a Nova fan. I was a Chevy Nova guy.
Do you remember the first car that I had?
Was it the Mustang?
No.
The Corona?
No, before that, my very first one.
Okay. I remember like 4 cars. Hey, God, baby, come on, you had many cars.
It was a Datsun B210.
Oh, a what? A Nissan B210?
Yeah, no, it was Datsun back there, and it was a
Or
Datsun.
yeah, Dawson, not a Dawson B210, like Rin from NWA was rolling
And
my Dawson
it
B210.
was a piece of junk. My sister's husband sold it to me for like Joe. Remember Joe, my sister's husband,
Yeah.
who he sold it to me for like $200, and it probably lasted me like 2 months. The engine blew, but he didn't ever change the oil or anything else or did anything to it. And I can't remember where it went, but it lasted like 2 months. It got me around for 2 months, but that's where I learned to drive stick shift.
Well, I get it. I learned to drive stick shift in your car.
Yeah.
Anyways, honey, Will Cook says, I love technology, hate being controlled by it. I get it. That black box is a son of a bitch, isn't it? I just
Charles, I like. He says, really want him to think because I asked him.
Becky Underwood says, we all need to go back to the old school days and ways. Old school days and ways. I worked on the family farm and ranch. I worked for everything. Mine was a Ford Maverick. Oh, Maverick! My buddy Eric Ferguson, a friend of mine, had a Maverick. The Maverick, I think was great. It was Maverick, and then you had the Comet. There was a Maverick and a Comet. They both looked at. Dave Cox had the Comet, and my friend Eric had the Maverick. So, honey knows Dave Cox.
But yes, I do. Yeah, but Becky, I agree. I absolutely agree with you that we need to go back that old way. I was the same way growing up. My mom was a single mother raising two girls, and we got our normal what we could get as far as what she could get us for school clothes and necessities, basically. But if we wanted anything else, we had to go work for it. I mean, I was literally babysitting the neighborhood kids at 10 years old. I mean, now we're not even allowed to leave our kids alone by themselves to take care of themselves until they're 12. But back then, it was okay. They didn't care. It wasn't, I don't know if we were more responsible or obviously raised differently. I'm not sure what it was. But I mean, I was babysitting, making, I believe it was like 50 cents an hour or something, which was big money back then, right? 50 cents an hour. And these guys were gone for so you figure in 8 hours when they were out partying and stuff, I made $4. Yay. But what I did is I saved my money. And so when I wanted something, made me appreciate it. And
go ahead. Go ahead.
Appreciate it. And, right. And that I worked for it. So I appreciate it. And it's still the work ethics that I have now.
Good morning, Betty. How are you? I hope you and Walter are doing okay. Sorry, honey. But you're right, babe, because I wish we could go back to the old ways, old school ways. But we can. I know we can't because we evolved. But
right.
what we don't have to get away from, which bothers me, is the old school values.
Right.
Old school principles, just good moral fiber. A moral compass, it's what we really need back in the school. Like my wife really needs to go pee. But
there you go, baby.
Joe Denny said it. Why? I like what Joe Denny said though. Why we got to bring up the ex-boyfriend into this? Well, Joe, it's okay to bring up the ex-boyfriend in this because he's actually the reason why I know my wife.
That's
his
true.
little brother is. Her ex-boyfriend is my little brother's my best friend's older brother.
Right. It's how we
You guys are gonna really get to know us. You guys are really gonna get to know us. When I was younger, my best friend's brother was my role model. He was everything. He had the coolest motorcycle. He had the coolest or the best weed.
Right.
And he had the hottest girlfriend. And I wanted everything he had.
You're so stupid.
It actually didn't go like that, but it did go like that, but it didn't go like that.
Right. And I was also, of that ex-boyfriend, I was also best friends with the sister. So, and then he was best friends with my cousin. So all of us were a great big group. All the families were kind of combined. So it's not just bringing up an ex-boyfriend because I'm not just bringing up ex-boyfriends.
Yeah,
but
it's our past.
That ex-boyfriend is our connection. That family is our connection of how you and I met when we were kids. So, and how he taught you how to ride. My cousin taught you how to drive, and he taught you how to ride a motorcycle. Can you not hear me?
Go ahead, keep going. Just keep going, Sheila. Keep going. Just keep going. Finish it up.
That was that was how we all got connected. It's a really actually pretty cool story, and we've known each other for 35 years. And so we, when we go down memory lane, we go down memory lane for many, 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 many years. And then it's actually pretty cool that I get to, with my husband, I don't have to introduce him to anything. We grew up in the same place. We got together. We've been friends. We've known each other for so long that we grew up. And I think I think it's pretty awesome. So, and with that, we won't bore him too much longer with our story. We'll get into it. So close it out.
Yeah, I gotta cut you off. My daughter called. Emily called, and it screwed the audio. Okay. So to my beautiful, beautiful daughter that I'm so very proud of. Your father is probably live around this time. I can kick her. But I love my kids, and I love my grandkids, and I love my wife, and I love you drivers. You guys are everything to us. You guys are the heartbeat of America. You should be treated like the heartbeat of America. We will be back Monday morning. All right? I'll probably go live sometime over the weekend. But remember, guys, to always keep your shine side up, rubber side down, and to make money in the trucking industry, baby, you got to do what?
Keep that left door closed.
Peace out.